Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
We are set for week number 2 in the NFL. It's the Browns at the Ravens. That means Cleveland has to find a way to stop Lamar Jackson. What's the best way to stop him? Can you stop him? We'll dive into that. Bull.
Just before we started the show, J and G once again confirmed they are the most knee-jerk people in all of Cleveland. Prisoners of the moment. I don't know if we'll have time to talk about it, but I had to say it anyway.
Jordan Love is a good quarterback.
Well, listen, he is correct. Me and Jay have the most surgeries on knees in anybody in the game. I'll tell you about the rookies. Game 1 played pretty well. Can they take a step in Game 2 against the Ravens? Jason.
If you don't want to watch Sunday's game, I don't blame you. So we're going to do headlines, pre-written headlines. We're going to tell you what happens before it happens. Mikey.
Yeah, I'm Mikey McNuggets, and we're going to start with whether or not Kevin Stefanski will allow Joe Flacco to sling the rock this week in a way we didn't see against Cincinnati. When you look at his passing chart from week 1, you can see a lot of intermediate passes in that 5 to 15-yard range. Only 2 pass attempts all game that traveled 20 air yards or more. Baltimore's defense in week 1 gave up a number of plays of 20-plus yards to Josh Allen, and I understand Josh Allen is not Joe Flacco. But, guys, do you expect to see Kevin Stefanski and Joe Flacco open up the playbook a little more and let it fly against this Baltimore defense?
I think a lot of it's predicated on how Baltimore plays them defensively. We talked about in the YouTube show, Cincinnati came out a lot of too high safety look, and I think it cut out a lot of the deep shot possibilities. Ultimately, I think it's a staple of the Kevin offense is we talk play action, 2 tight ends, quick game, short screen passes, and then deep shots, strategic deep shots on third down. We didn't see that last week. I think a lot of it depends on how Baltimore plays, if Kyle Hamilton's a single high safety back there or if they put 2 of them back there. I think that more than anything will determine sort of how the game unfolds offensively for the Browns.
You also don't have to worry about the run game right now. The Browns have no run game that anybody is concerned about. That might change if Quinshon Judkins is able to play, but even if he is, we don't know how much. And I think that plays into the situation where they're like, yeah, we're not giving Joe the big pass. We're not giving them that down the field. They can't run, so they're going to have to dink and dunk pass down the field. We think we can eventually stop them. So, no, I don't expect them to be flinging the ball downfield. I think probably a little more than last week, but not like a full aerial assault like we saw last time he was here.
You know, I think that Bull, you're correct. They've been a little victim of the tape. The tape has now been out. They went back, and a lot of those teams, when Joe Flacco was named the starter, they went back and looked at what he was successful in when they made their playoff run, and they said, listen, if we can keep things condensed, make Joe be patient in the intermediate passing game, we feel like he'll give us a couple of turnovers, maybe a couple of tip passes, but the thing we cannot do is let him get those long shot plays because the Browns are deficient at the wide receiver and explosive plays. So, hey, let's keep everything in front of us and make them be patient all the way down the field. And now we'll see if the Ravens have that same game plan. Maybe they might be a little more aggressive than the Bengals are. But, yeah, it may be a little tough.
Joe Flacco threw 9 passes to receivers or running backs that were behind the line of scrimmage when they caught the pass. Another 2 were at the line of scrimmage. That's about 25% of their passes were behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. That's I know that's the NFL today, but that's crazy to me. I think what ultimately will determine it, Jay, you were partly right when you said what are the Ravens doing. I think we know what the Ravens will do because they have seen the tape, G. They know what they're going to be looking at. I think the scoreboard has something to do with it too. If they look up and it's 21-0, you can't have these dink and dunk drives because they take 7 minutes too. If you get into a situation where you need a lot of points in a short period of time, and that can happen to this football team in the second quarter, we've seen it before, then Kevin Stefanski is going to have to take the cork out of the bottle and say, let's go, let's throw the football. It's not like Joe is completely, not able to do that. Joe has proven that he can go downfield with success. What we also know with Joe is when he goes downfield a lot, that's when we see more turnovers. It stands to reason. So I think it's going to be a similar game plan until the point spread gets a little out of hand, if it gets out of hand.
All right, guys, let's get on to our next topic, and it has to do with a rookie linebacker facing arguably the toughest test in the entire NFL. This is Carson Schwarzenegger's second game ever. He's wearing the green dot, and now he has to figure out whether or not Lamar Jackson is keeping it or giving the ball to Derrick Henry on read options. Gee, how much of a challenge is this going to be for Carson Schwarzenegger in just his second ever NFL game?
Well, he's done this a little bit before in college, but this gives him a little bit of a bigger challenge just because there's so many things to do. Baltimore can be very multiple in your setups. And so the thing you worry about is, okay, hey, are we getting lined up correctly? Are we getting the call in correctly? Because you have to be gap assigned when you talk about Lamar Jackson, and you gotta have your call in and ready to go and get down and play. Maybe Jim Schwartz in this case says, listen, we're going to simplify things. We're going to get you guys lined up correctly first, and then you guys just play fast. That's the key to stopping Derrick Henry. You got to get penetration in the backfield. You got to stop him before he gets downhill. But we'll see how close he is to a JOK. We've mentioned this before. JOK is kind of a draft pick that they got specifically for Lamar Jackson to shadow all over the field. We know Carson Schwarzenegger is a hitter. We know about his athleticism. We're going to get a chance to see it today, Bull.
When you look at the Browns defense and what happened last week, and obviously it's different because Lamar Jackson's game is different than Joe Burrow, but as my good friend G. Bush would say, don't get it twisted. The defense goes as Myles Garrett goes. Yeah. So it was when Myles Garrett exploded on that first drive of the second half, that's when everybody else on the defense came to life. So the other players are good players, no doubt about it. Carson Schwarzenegger did a tremendous job in his first game. But Myles Garrett wreaking havoc, that's what makes everybody else's job easier. It's that simple. So if Myles Garrett gets shut down in this game, you're going to see a lot of players on the defense. They didn't have great games. I wonder why. Well, it's because Myles Garrett didn't. He makes things easier for everybody. When he becomes a nuisance, which it happens quite often, that's a problem, and it just opens up everybody else.
Yeah, it's a great point. Schwarzenegger, for his role, I thought he had a great first game. Met the task. It almost felt like he knew what was coming from the Bengals. That's how in tune he was with the scouting report, with the game plan. Much bigger task, obviously, this week. I like what we've seen so far, and we'll see if he's up to the task.
I can't remember, guys, a time in the last 10 years, and this isn't something that you really is very noteworthy, but can you guys think of a time where a player has faced a bigger challenge? 2 games into his career, he wears the green dot. He's facing 2 of the most prolific offensive players that we've seen in the last decade. And he's the guy in charge of the communication. All that being said, I think he's up to the task. I'm not saying they're going to stop these 2 because I don't think they are, but I don't think the Ravens are going to have all kinds of offensive success because of Carson Schwarzenegger. I think he's just going to be one of 11 victims on Sunday. But this is a huge task for him. And if, for some reason, they hold these 2 guys in check, like they did Burrow and Chase last week, and he's a big part of that, then we're looking at, dare we say it, you had mentioned he kind of reminds you of Clay Matthews. If he's able to do that in game 2 of his NFL career, to me, it takes whatever lid on his success I've put and it blows it right off. So I'm watching carefully.
And the defense as a whole, I think, listen, the Browns defense played very well last week. They played an amazing second half. But I think myself and many others are like, okay, Bengals always struggle in week 1.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Do it against Baltimore on the road.
Yeah.
And
Let's see
if they should hold them under 20 points, guys, I think we're looking at a very, very good defense.
That's going to be eye-opening if that happens.
Yeah, it's a very tall task, and I personally don't think they'll do it, but we'll see.
But if they do, win or lose, I'm going to change my opinion on how I think the season's going to go to some degree.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's start with the other rookies real quick. We always talk about the year 1 to year 2 jump, that off-season that these rookies go through where they kind of become their own, develop into full-fledged players. But is there a jump from game 1 to game 2? Gee, you played at the highest level of any of us here at the Division I level. If you go back to your freshman year, can you remember your first game to your second game and How will that translate for the other 3 rookies we didn't talk about? Mason Graham, Harold Fannin, and Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, it was kind of a jump. Our first game was against Akron. We played pretty good. I'm like, I played at the Rubber Bowl before. And then the second game was at West Virginia. Yeah.
Hey, you guys just beat West Virginia at West Virginia.
We did. We evolved. They didn't have G. Bush on their roster, and then guess what? It was good you didn't have me. Y'all actually won. We got beat by West Virginia. But no, it's weird because what happens is in the first game, you have some level of success or you have a little level of failure. You get to go through the week. Your coach gets to get together with you and look at the film, and then you realize in the second game there's no breaks. Like week 1, you just had the Bengals. You thinking, oh, they can't be that crazy. Week 2, I'm ready to go. No. Week 2 can be worse. It very well could be worse. It could be a welcome to the NFL type situation because every team in the NFL presents a different style. It's whatever game plan you have for Joe Burrow. You're not going to be running Joe Burrow down from behind this week.
Lamar Jackson.
You got Lamar Jackson. You're not going to be running him down. So Derrick Henry presents a whole new problem, too. You could be in your gap bull, and you could be right there to make the tackle, but you realize that Derrick Henry weighs more than Carson Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, and for the offensive, and for the offensive rookies, guys, this is their first game they'll play where the crowd's going to be going bananas while they have the ball.
Yeah.
Last week, you
they
could hear
worked in
everything.
silence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but this week, that Baltimore crowd, they're going to be frenzied for this game.
I think the biggest thing is the tape. Baltimore now has
too,
tape on
sure.
Harold Fannin and Dylan Sampson. They see now, okay, they're going to put Fannin in Wildcat. We have to be ready for that. Oh, okay, Fannin was a big part of what they did last week. Oh, okay, you would think you knew going in, they like Dylan Sampson on screens and swings and that sort of thing. Well, now you have the evidence of it.
Yeah.
Mason Graham got beat up quite a bit on those first couple of drives when Cincinnati ran right at him. And then he sort of settled in and had a terrific second half. Yeah. Baltimore sees all of that now. Now there's some evidence. Now you can sort of see how you want to attack these guys. That, to me, is the biggest jump from week 1 to week 2, is now teams have a little bit of a scouting report on you.
Yeah, it's like a new hitter called up from the minor leagues. You got a book on him. You know a little bit about him, but when you find out that he hits 2 inside fastballs over the wall and left, now you know. Now you've seen it with your own eyes, and it becomes a totally different thing. And I agree with that. They're going. They know Fannin is going to be his relief valve.
Yeah,
because he was in week 1.
And going back to Lamar and the running game and all that, it would not shock me if Baltimore came out and ran it right at the middle of the Browns' defense.
Yeah, challenge them.
Cincinnati went right down the field on them on the opening drive.
Yeah, and that's where they're young. I mean, you've got Crosby up there. You've got Schlesinger. I think that this is Lamar Jackson is. I don't know that he's one of one, but there's very few that have that kind of skill set. And I know in the next segment we're going to talk about the best way to stop him. I think before you can pull it off.
I didn't know he had those numbers. I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
No.
I completely forgot about that, Bull.
I mean, it's MVP. It's MVP time. And he to me he's only seems to get better as time goes on. Yeah. So these kids are really going to be in for a huge test. I thought they passed the test last week, even though they lost. I'm not sure we're going to be saying on Monday that, these kids really lived up. They passed the test because this is where it gets really difficult. Mike?
I want to ask you guys this before we head over to break, and we'll go around the horn. Bull, we'll start with you and with Jay. When we come in on Monday and we do our rookie report, which rookie do you think will say this player had the best game of the 4 we anticipate playing?
Good question.
I'm going to say Harold Fannin.
Same,
Fannin.
Clean sweep.
Because he has Joe Flacco. Flacco will assist him more. When you look at Mason Graham and Schlesinger up the middle, they ain't got no help. It's just you out there now. At least Joe Flacco can steer and guide and get him open. Yeah, Fannin's easy for me.
And because we all agree, it'll definitely be Sampson.
Right.
That's true. Or it could be Andre Schmidt.
Well.
Oh, I like that.
Whoa.
Is he technically considered a rookie?
I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
It's his
That
first year in
was
the
his
NFL.
first game last week.
Bad job out of me. There are 5 rookies we anticipate playing.
Yeah,
Andre Schmidt
you're right.
certainly is in that conversation.
Well, wait a minute. What about Judkins? Do we know what's going on? He could play.
He could. I think it'd be a very limited number of snaps.
Yeah, but he could play. I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if we saw him for 6-8 plays.
Zach yesterday said he didn't think he would play, that he would play in week 3, but
okay,
he wasn't sure.
We'll find out.
He was at
practice.
practice.
We'll see. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the task at hand is to stop or slow down number 8. Can it be done? If so, what's the best way to do it? That's on the other side of this commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Stopping number 8. Man, that's like a 18-sided Rubik's Cube. Because if you work too hard on trying to get one color complete, you're going to mess up the other ones. And that's what happens when you try to contain Lamar Jackson, either run versus pass. He's dangerous either way. How do you stop him? How do you attack him?
Well, the biggest thing is gap integrity. Gap integrity is huge because what you want to do more than anything is to obstruct his vision. You still want to rush and get pressure on him, but you don't want to get out of your lanes because he could take off, and if you're man coverage, your back is turned and it's going to be a problem. So you kind of have to do that, but we kind of talked off air. He's very improved as a passer. Like when he first came into the league, it wasn't like you were scared that he was going to carve you up from the pocket, but he's worked on his game as a passer, and he's efficient when he's throwing the football. So he's going to get his. It's about trying to slow him down a little bit and not letting him have those explosive plays where he puts you on a highlight reel. But it's going to be a tough thing. I think Myles Garrett has to have the game, and you got to stay in your rush lanes.
Yeah, I mean, you see there, when you blitz him, it's not – the numbers aren't much worse.
No, there's usually a much bigger decline than that.
I mean, that's a very – all those numbers, he's a little worse against the blitz, but, that's natural. I mean – it's almost impossible to stop him. Like, you can't. I feel like the only way to beat them and him is when they make the decision to just go away from the run.
Right.
Or if you get him out of your rhythm. I mean, I said last week, I think part of the reason the Bengals were so bad in the second half is because Burrow twice went so long without the ball, they had no rhythm. So I think the offense can help. Just you got to, I usually think, I think sometimes time of possession can be overrated because some good teams score fast. But against Lamar, I mean, I think the Browns, long drives, getting him out of his rhythm. He's a rhythm player.
Yeah.
That could certainly help. But there's no definitive game plan to shut him down.
Schwartz typically doesn't blitz a ton defensively, so I don't think that they're going to blitz him. I think you hit on it earlier. It's Myles. You're really asking Myles to sort of speed up the clock here.
Yeah.
And pressure the quarterback and get sacks. And is it unfair to put it on one guy? Probably, but you're Myles Garrett. You're going to Canton one day, so that's what's required of you in this. So really, I think it comes down to what kind of pressure can the defensive line generate and get to him without having to call blitzes, and I think they'll play a lot of zone behind him.
Yeah, it's. I know Philly has really developed into a team that is dual threat with their quarterback. They can run it, and they've got the best running back in the league. So, to me, Philly would still be a slight 1 over Baltimore's 2. But if you look at, and I think the Super Bowl.
Really?
What's that?
I would take Baltimore over Philly.
Yeah, I would just take Philly because of Saquon and because of the development of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but I don't
remember Jalen is earlier in his development arc. He's where Lamar was a couple years ago. I think Jalen's going to continue to get better too. But
Lamar was better early than Jalen.
Well, I mean, they won a Super Bowl last year. So
I hear you,
but all that being said, I'd almost like to see Baltimore and Philly in the Super Bowl. Number one, what are they, 70 miles apart?
That would
whatever.
be awesome, yeah.
And we would really get to see that play out because I think right now what we have in the NFL, which for a long time the running game was an afterthought, right now when you look at the powers that are in the NFL, you've got Philly and you've got Baltimore and you've got the same formula. You've got a quarterback that will kill you with his feet and his legs. You've got a running back that he's a second alternative to the run if the quarterback doesn't. So you've got two amazing run options in both cities, and you've got quarterbacks and wide receivers that can slice you to pieces too. So if you're looking for the current blueprint in the NFL for success, it's what's going on in Baltimore and Philly. Now, it's hard to do that because you're serving two masters at once.
Run that back. I didn't know he had all that either. This is the second time. Derrick Henry had 2,000.
Yes.
So you telling me that
So did Saquon.
He almost had 2,000 yards in a quarterback. This is ridiculous.
Yes, that's what I said.
5.9, yeah.
It is the toughest task you can ask of a defense.
Derrick Henry is the best running back of the last decade.
Yeah.
Easy.
End of conversation.
Yeah, and a lot of people forgot about it. A lot of people wrote him off.
We were having conversations at the end of his Tennessee days if the tread was
Browns,
off the tires.
we asked, should the Browns sign him? That's a true story. We asked it.
We forgot all about
There
that.
were guys on the panel that said, no, he's done.
Hey, listen, Derrick Henry.
I may have been one of them, but I don't remember
Hey,
that.
when you plan a dual threat like that, and it wouldn't be bad that Lamar Jackson can move on you and skate. I don't know how many yards Lamar Jackson had as a runner, but
Here's the answer
Yeah,
to the question.
9:15, G.
9:15.
Yeah, they're video game numbers.
Did I miss this year?
Yeah, you
What
were
was I
sleeping.
watching?
You were hypnotized by the Browns.
We were
3 and
3 and
14.
14. 9,000.
Here's the
You were in
answer
a
to the
car
question.
accident every Sunday.
The answer to the question is you don't beat them with the defense. You only do what Buffalo did.
You outscore 'em.
You outscore them. That's it. And that's why Sunday is going to be a long day for us because our offense isn't going to outscore them. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop. Clip it. Play it on Monday.
Well, now you just gave away the headlines.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, there was a lot of drama in this week's headlines.
What?
Oh, by the way, I'll give something else away. We all agree, which could mean we're all wrong because it usually means when we all see it the same way. We're taking a break. Speaking of headlines, who wins and how? It's our pre-written headlines. When the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC comes right back. Better have a good defense. Time for pre-written headlines. Jason, you're the newspaper man, so you're first.
Yeah, I went back to my old newspaper days and went with a generic cheapie because it was pretty obvious. Purple Rain.
Purple rain.
Ravens continued day-long celebration with 30-14 win over the Browns. We talked about in the YouTube show. Baltimore decided to bring their ex back to celebrate 30 years of success in Baltimore, and they brought their ex-spouse with them. You're the one with the drug problem and the ankle bracelet. That's who's coming back to life.
How does Burger King end up on that headline too? What?
I don't know. It's Ant's Daily Hot Take. He said Burger King.
Now, I read his article because not only did he give us a pre-written headline, he wrote the article. And one of the excerpts from the article was a bite from Lamar Jackson, and I'm going to give it verbatim. Yeah, we thought we'd go out and drop 30 on purpose because it's our 30th year anniversary. If it was our 40th year, we would have dropped 40, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, man.
Name the score.
I was going to come with some, purple passion Kool-Aid because I thought, the Flaccavelli was going to come back and flap and do his thing, but not so fast. Yeah, worst party ever. Ravens celebrate.
Look at Bull in the background.
Celebrate that 30th anniversary.
Ravens got a purple hat.
But look at the Raven just in there, and we had to get a Raven gifts too. We had to pull up with presents for them. They smashed us 31-13, and I can't even lie.
And that's some of your best work.
Yeah. Great work,
to be
right
honest.
there.
And you know what? You're right. Burger King is underrated. The Whopper's the best fast food sandwich of all
If you
time.
get a good
When's the last
Whopper-
time you ate a Whopper?
Probably 3 months ago.
Really?
I love.
I would never have guessed that.
I
Dustin had one
love
yesterday.
Burger King.
You had one yesterday?
No,
Whopper.
Dustin had one. He can do that with all
If
that.
I could,
lettuce.
I'd eat it every day, and that's the
Damn.
true story. That is a definitely. Okay, you're up, Bull.
I'm up. Let's see it. Rave wins.
Ooh.
Jackson and Henry each scored twice as Browns lose in Baltimore 34-20.
At least you got him over 20
Look, they
points.
used my
Yeah.
arm there on the right for the
I specifically told the guys, put Jay's arm in the background.
Good job, Bull.
So yeah, I think the Browns defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as it played last week. And the Ravens, you said it, their offense is a juggernaut, especially in the regular season. And I just think they're going to struggle to contain these guys. And then once they get ahead, that's when it snowballs and gets ugly. The turnovers happen, and
Yeah, I know it's tough
Yeah.
with clean sweep if Mikey goes that way because I'm going that way. My headline was Lamard, and I do think, Bull, to your point, I do think this is a good defense, and I think we'll see that play out over 17 weeks if our guys stay healthy. But I also think that when the immovable object meets the whatever that saying is,
Irresistible force.
irresistible
Ka-chew,
force.
Mr. Science.
There was some recent video that was released this week of government video of us firing some missile at a UFO and it bounced off of it. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I
Google
have.
it. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Even if we're the missile, the Ravens are that UFO, and we're just going to bounce off. Mike.
All right, it's never good when we all agree, except this time we all agree the Ravens are going to win, so it might be good for the Browns. I had Angry Birds get revenge. Browns fans need to Edgar Allan Poe another drink after Kyle Hamilton and the Dirty Birds get revenge for last year's missed interception.
Yeah,
So,
and from what happened to them against the Bills.
Sunday Night Football.
They're coming in angry. They are definitely angry.
Yeah.
All right, enjoy the game. Watch the post-game show. It starts at the 2-minute warning. Have a great weekend.